Now today's video is going to be on smoking media. It's not going to be on the different types of media from the standpoint of cherry versus apple, versus oak or something like that. It's going to be based upon the form that the media takes and how that affects your smoking. Well, let's take a look right here. Now notice how black that is? That's because this media is smoked out. It turns coal black when she's all used up. Now this is sawdust, as you would expect to find in a sawdust smoke generator. Now it comes in bag form like that, and I'm not personally convinced that this sawdust is actually hickory. It doesn't smoke quite like hickory in the color, and it doesn't quite smell like hickory. It doesn't quite taste like hickory. Now I don't know what it is. I'm a little bit suspicious it might have come out of like a flooring factory or something like that. There's a lot of different things that might affect it, but I'm not really sure. But the fact is that very small particle is very fast to come up to temperature, and it will smoke very quickly and go away. And you get a fair amount of wood in a small volume. It smokes quickly and plays out quickly. And for sawdust generators, you know that this is one of the characteristics that they do. They're used for generally very short time smoking. You come up, you smoke, you go away, because you normally want to expose your meat products to higher than refrigerator temperatures for any longer than necessary. Now what you see here is a hickory shaving. And I know this is hickory with absolute certainty, and I'll show you in a minute. And it's just a very simple shaving that comes off of the process. It's very light, fluffy. It comes up to temperature very quickly like sawdust. It is a substitute for a sawdust and does pretty well. And because that was cut out of a fairly green hickory, something recent, it develops smoke readily and smells like hickory, looks like hickory, and tastes like hickory. This next product is a wood chip. Now you see the size of that compared to the flake. See, there's just really no mass to this. That's why it comes up temperature so quickly. Compare that over here to this sawdust. You see, just tiny little dust is what it is. Now back to the chip. This is a pretty good product. It will smoke fairly quickly. You'd be surprised. And it is available in small bags. Now the largest wood chip I have out here is this size. And a piece of wood this size will actually come up to smoke in a reasonable length of time, much longer than the small chips or the flakes or the sawdust, but it will produce a great deal more smoke because this piece of wood, before it turned to a charcoal, was quite a bit heavier. And the last type of wood I use is an actual solid piece of hickory, and that works quite well in the open pit. Put it in there and burn it for fuel, or you can set it above and let it smolder if you can get it to do that. Now I make my own chips of this size. I'm telling you, don't make them yourself. I'm telling you, don't do it. There is no perfectly safe way to do it. So I'm telling you, are you listening? Don't make your own chips, because when you're working with something capable of splitting a piece of wood, it might just take a finger off, and you may only be able to count to 8 or 9. So I use something like this. This is an old woodsman's pal. They used to give those things out in Vietnam. You'd buy them surplus shortly thereafter. Now, this is how I do it, and I'm telling you, don't do this. I take a piece of wood. This is my base piece of wood. It's got a little piece of apple. See my little woodpecker holes? And then I put my little stub up here. And instead of using my thumb or my fingers or my hand, I use this piece of wood, or one like it, in case I miss. Because if I miss, I'm going to hit that piece of wood, and I got some good clearance between me and it. Now I'm telling you, don't make your own chips. But if you do, use some common sense. Else you may only be able to count to 8 or 9. And you may have one heck of an emergency room bill. And don't come crying to me if they start calling you Lefty. Now I know what you're thinking. Say you don't live near a sawmill or have a source of sawdust for your sawdust smoke generator. What do? Well, if you got a hickory tree like I do, you take a hickory tree, take a limb, cut her down, take a plane, put it in a little bench or something here, and necessity may be the mother of invention, but with a clean wheelbarrow and a little deflector there, you'd be surprised just how quickly you can generate enough sawdust to take care of your smoking needs for some time to come. Now, one bit of warning: when you shave off wood like this from reasonably fresh cut hickory or any other wood, you got to watch out for this pile of dust to self-heat, because it can do that depending on a lot of factors. That's why your wood piles are usually kept out where the air can get to it, and this type of stuff you just need to keep an eye on her, make sure she's not going to heat up on you, that type of thing. So I grind off just what I needed, plus a little bit to last me for many smokings to come, and I'll keep this out there where the air can get to it, where she can dry good, and that will take care of my needs for the immediate future. But watch out for your shavings to heat up on you. Keep them in a safe place. Well, to test these shavings out, I'm going to cook these 2 pieces of strip steak. You can tell they're stripped by this nice piece of fat along the back spine of them. And these are a select grade. See how much white we got all through here? It's not a bad piece of meat, actually. We're going to cook them up off of the hickory smoke. We'll use a little of this steak shake. Actually, that's probably a recipe for that. It's probably a video for another time. We're going to go outside and put them on the grill. So we'll set these on there and go from here. Say goodbye. The hickory grilled strip steak, some store-bought french fries with a little bit of Memphis dry rub sprinkled on top. Did I ever mention just how versatile that Memphis dry rub really is? And just a tad of vegetables. Because you know, I don't know if you can overdo it with vegetables or not, but I don't believe in taking any chances.